All right. Welcome back, everyone. Ready to unlock some serious learning superpowers.
I think we can do that.
I'm pumped for this deep dive. We're taking all the awesome tips and tricks from the Learn Faster, Live Better podcast, and, well, we're going to break it down, make it even easier to digest, and, most importantly, apply to your life.
Absolutely. We're going to equip you to not only learn faster, but to make sure that knowledge sticks around for the long haul.
Because what's the point of learning something if you just forget it a week later?
Right. It's about making that knowledge a part of you, integrating it into your skill set, your understanding of the world.
Totally. So first things first, the podcast really emphasizes, the importance of setting super clear goals.
Yeah, this is huge E. So many people fall into the trap of having these vague aspirations like, oh, I want to learn how to code, or I want to be more creative.
Okay.
And then nothing happens because those are wishes, not goals. A real goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Got it. SMART goals.
Exactly. So instead of just learn to code, it's learn Python well enough to build a basic web app within 6 months.
Oh, okay. So you have a very specific endpoint you're actually driving towards.
Yes. It's like having a destination on your GPS.
Makes so much sense. Okay, let's say we've got our SMART goal locked in, but then we look at the mountain of stuff we need to learn to reach it, and it's like, whoa, how am I going to do this?
It's intimidating. And that's where the next tip comes in. Break it down.
This sounds familiar. It's that eat the elephant thing, right?
It is. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. You break down a massive goal into smaller, more manageable chunks.
So give me an example. Like if I wanted to, I don't know, write a novel.
Okay, perfect. Instead of staring at a blank page thinking, I need to write a 300-page masterpiece, you could break it down into smaller goals. Week 1, brainstorm characters. Week 2, outline the plot. Week 3, write 500 words a day.
Okay, yeah. So you create a series of mini goals that lead to the bigger picture.
Exactly. And each time you hit one of those smaller goals, you get a little boost of motivation, a feeling of accomplishment that keeps you going.
This is making me feel more motivated already.
See? It works. And here's another powerful tip. Don't just passively absorb information. Actively engage with it.
Ooh, tell me more. Active learning.
This is where the real magic happens. So many people think learning is just sitting there, reading a book, watching a video, just absorbing it.
Right, like a sponge.
Yeah, and while some of it does soak in, you retain so much more when you're an active participant.
So how do we do that?
There are tons of ways. Teach what you've learned to someone else. Take notes by hand. Summarize key concepts in your own words.
Oh, I love that. You're forcing yourself to really process and understand the information.
Right. Instead of just letting it wash over you, you're wrestling with it, making it your own.
This is blowing my mind. Okay, So active learning. Now, they also talk about a technique that might seem like old school, but it's super effective. Repetition.
Oh, yeah. Repetition gets a bad rap sometimes because people think it's boring.
But it works. It's how we learned our ABCs, our multiplication tables.
Exactly. Our brains are wired to learn through repetition. It's like carving a path in the woods. The more you walk that path, the clearer and more defined it becomes.
So how can we use repetition effectively?
Think flashcards. If you're learning a language, put those vocab words on flashcards and quiz yourself regularly.
Or if you're studying a new subject, write down key concepts on flashcards and review them.
You can even turn information into a song or a rhyme. Make it fun, make it memorable.
Oh, I remember doing that in school to memorize historical dates. And then, building on the idea of repetition, Learn Faster, Live Better also dives into something called spaced repetition.
This is like repetition on steroids.
Okay, how's that?
Spaced repetition is about strategically timing your review sessions.
So not just repeating something over and over mindlessly.
Right. It's about giving your brain just the right amount of space between reviews. So imagine you learn something new today. You review it tomorrow, then maybe again in 3 days, then a week later, and then maybe a month later.
So you're gradually increasing the intervals.
Exactly. This takes advantage of how our brains naturally forget things. By reviewing just before you're about to forget, you reinforce those neural connections.
Wow, that's fascinating and so effective. All right, next up, Learn Faster, Live Better. Gets into some serious personalization. Knowing your learning style.
This is crucial because we all learn differently. Some people are visual learners, others auditory, some kinesthetic.
Yeah, visual learners, they got to see it, right? Like Diagrams, images, videos.
Exactly. Auditory learners, they thrive on listening to lectures, podcasts, audiobooks,
And kinesthetic learners, they got to move. They learn best by doing.
building things, experimenting, role-playing. The key is to figure out which style or blend of styles works best for you.
Because then you can tailor your learning strategies to fit how your brain is wired.
It's like having a personalized learning roadmap.
Okay, so we've got goals, we've got strategies, but there's one more ingredient that Learn Faster, Live Better emphasizes: curiosity.
You got to be curious. It's the fuel that drives all learning.
I love that analogy. Curiosity is fuel.
Because if you're not curious, you're not going to be engaged. You're not going to ask questions, explore different perspectives, dig deeper.
So how do we cultivate more curiosity?
Well, start by asking why more often. Don't just accept things at face value. Dig deeper. Look for connections between different ideas.
And don't be afraid to challenge your own assumptions.
Exactly. Embrace the unknown. Be open to being surprised.
That's where the real learning adventures happen. And finally, we can't forget about breaks.
Breaks are essential. They're not just about avoiding burnout. They're actually crucial for learning and retention.
So it's not just about slacking off.
Not at all. When you take breaks, you're giving your brain a chance to process all that information you've been taking in.
It's like hitting the save button.
Exactly. So step away from the books, go for a walk, listen to music, do something completely different, then come back refreshed and ready to absorb more.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive.
We covered a lot, from SMART goals to spaced repetition to the power of curiosity and brioche. I hope everyone feels empowered to learn anything they set their minds to.
I know I do. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Go forth and learn, my friends.
Keep those brains firing.
Until next time.
See ya!
Bye.